Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. These are my predictions for upcoming characters for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. They are all characters that I think Capcom will choose based off of logic and previous movesets and convenience, and that's ultimately why I chose them, not because they're necessarily characters that I want to show up, though it's not that I don't want these characters to show up, but it's more for reasons that I think they will rather than I want them to. Predictions, more or less. So let's get right into it. First up, we have Ken Masters from the Street Fighter series. Honestly, the reason why I'm choosing him is because he has Ryu's moveset. I feel like this would be a very convenient reason for Capcom to want to bring Ken Masters over, not to mention Street Fighter is a very popular property of theirs. On top of that, they already have the voice of Ken in the game, the voice of Dante. That's right, Ruben Langdon, the voice of Dante from Devil May Cry, is also the voice of fucking Ken Masters from Street Fighter, which is pretty badass. So conveniently, they have the same voice actor already in the game. On top of that, I feel like they're teasing him in the new Metro City stage where he pops up in the background where he's signed up for some sort of tournament where he might be facing off against Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. So that is my predictions and my reasoning as to why Ken Masters will be a DLC character for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Next up is a pretty obvious one. Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. Honestly, it's because he's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and because, much like Ken Masters, he appears in the background of the new Metro City stage. On top of that, Netflix's series Iron Fist and Marvel's Defenders are other big reasons. Well, since those are basically part of the MCU, and those are also pretty new properties at the moment, I feel like this might be a reason as to why they would choose Iron Fist. Third is Amaterasu from Okami. There are many reasons why I'm actually choosing this character. The biggest is probably his Marvel vs. Capcom 3 moveset, but there are other reasons too, like in December, Capcom is actually releasing Okami HD on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So not only are they re-releasing his game, but he was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 already, and honestly, I feel like his art design and aesthetic lends itself well to Marvel vs. Capcom. Next up is Chuck Green from the Dead Rising franchise. First off, Dead Rising is already featured prominently in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite with the inclusion of Frank West, especially in the story mode. Chuck Green is a very popular character from the franchise, and on top of that, he's being featured in the upcoming Puzzle Fighter game from Capcom as well. I'd actually like to see Chuck Green go into Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I'd like to see him in the game, so it'd be kind of cool to see this one, and I genuinely believe he has a shot of being in the game. Next up is Scarlet Witch. First of all, I believe that her inclusion in this game might come due to the fact that she is now a member of the Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She's also a Marvel Cinematic Universe replacement for Magneto. Canonically, she's actually Magneto's daughter, but, she's also a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyways, they just don't mention Magneto. I feel like this would make her a decent replacement for Magneto's character in these games, though nobody can truly replace Magneto. On top of that, we are kind of missing female characters from the games at the moment. There needs to be more waifu material in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and I think Scarlet Witch would be a good addition in that way as well. Next up is my girl, Jill Valentine. Quite honestly, it's weird that she's not in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's just strange that we have Nemesis in the game already and not Jill Valentine. They are kind of rivals, essentially. Regardless, I still feel like there's a good chance she'll make it into the game. She does have a legacy with this franchise being available in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and she could have her Marvel vs. Capcom 3 moveset brought over for convenience. On top of that, Capcom has recently re-released Resident Evil Revelations 1 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, of which Jill Valentine is the star. So it's just kind of weird not to see her in this game already. There are a lot of great reasons why she should be in the game. I don't know if I've mentioned this already, I might have, but she's also going to be featured in the upcoming puzzle fighter game from Capcom. I don't think that game looks very good, but you know, they're at least acknowledging that her character exists. So yeah, look out for Jill Valentine as an upcoming DLC character for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. No pun intended, but this next one's going to be Quicksilver. Yeah, he's basically going to be a companion character to Scarlet Witch. I don't see them selling us Scarlet Witch without giving us Quicksilver. So I think that is ultimately the only reason he'd be included, but there you go. Quicksilver. That's one of my predictions. My 8th choice is Asura from Asura's Wrath. Quite honestly, there's no good reason Capcom should not have put Asura in this game. He has very high fan demand to be in a Marvel vs. Capcom title. A lot of people thought he'd lend himself very well to this franchise, and it just seems weird that they're not choosing him. And though he wasn't in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, he does already have a fighting game moveset. There's some DLC for the original Asura's Wrath game where it's got Street Fighter 4 styled gameplay, and you use Asura to fight Ryu from Street Fighter, a character who is already available in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So for that reason, it's kind of weird that they wouldn't include him. On top of that, they already have Liam O'Brien, who voices Doctor Strange inside Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And if you weren't aware, he also voiced Asura in Asura's Wrath. There's just way too many convenient reasons Asura should be in this game. I just don't see them not adding him further down the line. It just seems like an obvious DLC character. Next up is Loki. He's an incredibly popular character, and he's the brother of Thor. Thor being a character who's already in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The game is also lacking villains at the moment, and we need more villainous characters, and I think Loki could fill that spot. On top of that, he's very prominent in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which seems to be the kind of style that they're going for with this game, which is kind of obvious with the exclusion of all the X-Men characters. But yeah, Loki, that's one of my next predictions. My 10th and final DLC character prediction for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is going to have to go to Wesker. It would have made more sense for Wesker to be in the base game. He could have been featured prominently in the story mode as one of the masterminds. It's kind of weird that he wasn't, but he would have made a great addition, and it would have made Chris's appearance in the story mode far more memorable and make a whole hell of a lot more sense. But instead we ended up getting Nemesis. Somehow Chris knew who Nemesis was, despite the fact that it was actually Jill who fought against Nemesis, not Chris. So it's kind of weird. I guess he could have heard stories from Jill, but it just made more sense to have Wesker instead of Nemesis. He could have been a better part of the story mode. He could have been a rival to Chris. It just makes more sense. On top of that, he falls under the category of needing more villains for the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite game. We don't have a lot of villains in the game, and I feel like he would make a great villainous addition. On top of that, he also has a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 moveset, so it just seems kind of silly that he's not included in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite already, but I still strongly believe that he is going to come to the game later. There you guys have it. Those are all my predictions for upcoming future DLC characters for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, I just want to disclaim once again that these are my predictions. They're not necessarily the characters I want to show up the most. Some of them were, some of them weren't, but they're all characters I feel have a good chance of becoming DLC characters in the future. And that's ultimately why I chose them. I already made a list of characters I want to show up. Now there's characters from Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that are sorely missing as well. I'm sorely missing Virgil and Trish and even Amaterasu. But hey, we'll see those characters eventually, possibly. Those are all Marvel vs. Capcom 3 characters. They're all fairly possible. Akuma's missing as well, but whatever. Oh well, I guess is the thing to say here. But hey, I feel like the game can only get better from here. If all of these characters do show up, which I have faith that they will, I feel like that will ultimately be a pretty strong roster for this game. It's just kind of sad because I feel like it could have been so much better, but hey. Anyways, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.